Imagine waking up tomorrow morning, and the sun does not rise in the east. It crawls sideways along the horizon. Day and night no longer follow the rules you've known your entire life. The sky looks wrong, the seasons feel broken, and somewhere deep beneath your feet, the planet you stand on has fundamentally changed. This is not a slow drift over millions of years. This is not a gradual wobble. This is Earth, tilting 90 degrees overnight. At 2:17 a.m., without warning, the planet shifts. No countdown, no alarm, just a sudden, impossible movement. Oceans surge as if the planet itself has lost balance. The ground trembles across continents. Mountains groan under forces they were never meant to feel. Satellites in orbit suddenly lose their sense of direction. Instruments calibrated for a familiar Earth spin wildly out of alignment. As dawn approaches, billions of people sense that something is wrong. Earth is no longer upright. Its axis, once tilted gently at 23.5 degrees, now lies almost sideways. The North Pole no longer points into the darkness of space. It faces the sun directly, and in that moment, everything changes. Right now, Earth spins like a slightly tilted top. That modest tilt is responsible for the rhythm of life: seasons, climate zones, migrations, harvests. Summer happens when your half of the planet leans toward the sun. Winter arrives when it leans away. But in this scenario, that balance is shattered. A 90-degree tilt means Earth is essentially rolling on its side as it travels around the sun. For half of the year, one pole faces constant daylight. The opposite pole is locked in unbroken darkness. There are no sunrises, there are no sunsets, only light or endless night. Earth still spins once every 24 hours. It still completes its yearly journey around the sun. But sunlight no longer spreads gently across latitudes. It concentrates, it dominates. For 6 months, the sun hangs almost motionless in the sky above one hemisphere. Day never ends. Temperatures rise relentlessly. Ice begins to melt at terrifying speed. Glaciers collapse into the sea. Polar ice sheets disintegrate. Sea levels rise faster than human civilization can respond. Then, just as suddenly, the sun disappears. The same hemisphere plunges into darkness that lasts for half a year. Temperatures fall without mercy. Oceans freeze from the surface down. Winds scream across frozen land masses. Earth enters a brutal cycle of fire and ice. The initial physical shock would be catastrophic. A sudden planetary tilt would unleash earthquakes on a global scale. Fault lines rupture, volcanoes awaken. The oceans, responding to the new orientation, surge toward a newly formed equatorial band. Mega tsunamis race across coastlines. Entire cities vanish beneath walls of water. Communication networks collapse as satellites drift or fail. Navigation systems become useless. Within hours, the modern world is thrown into chaos. The familiar concept of seasons disappears. There is no gradual warming of spring, no cooling of autumn. Instead, there is survival under extremes. 6 months of unbroken sunlight scorch the land. 6 months of darkness freeze it solid. Weather systems lose their structure. Jet streams fracture. Storms grow massive and unpredictable. Hurricanes feed on extreme temperature contrasts and become stronger than anything recorded in human history. Rain falls violently or not at all. Agriculture begins to fail within weeks. Crops are not built for endless daylight or half-year nights. Soil dries, freezes, or erodes away. Food shortages spread across the globe. Earth has experienced climate shifts before. Over millions of years, small changes in axial tilt have triggered ice ages and warming periods. Even a shift of a few degrees has reshaped the planet. But a 90-degree tilt is something else entirely. There is only one close example in our solar system: Uranus, an ice giant tilted so far that its poles face the sun for decades at a time. On Uranus, seasons last longer than human lifetimes. Now imagine that reality, not on a frozen gas giant, but on Earth, a planet filled with oceans, forests, and billions of living creatures. The biological impact would be devastating. Plants rely on predictable light cycles. 6 months of darkness kills vast forests. 6 months of relentless sunlight burns others beyond recovery. In the oceans, phytoplankton begin to die. These microscopic organisms produce much of Earth's oxygen. As they vanish, marine ecosystems collapse. Fish populations crash. Predators follow. On land, animals migrate desperately toward the narrow twilight zones between light and dark. Those that cannot move fast enough disappear. A mass extinction unfolds. Human civilization struggles to endure. Modern society depends on stability, predictable seasons, reliable weather, steady food supplies. All of that is gone. Power grids fail under crushing heat and extreme cold. Infrastructure cracks and collapses. Nations compete for habitable regions near the shifting boundary between sunlight and darkness. Borders lose meaning. Survival becomes the only priority. The map of Earth is rewritten. The old equator no longer defines the planet. A new equatorial region forms, stretching from pole to pole. Oceans redistribute around it. Some continents flood partially. Others become barren wastelands of ice or fire. Humanity retreats underground. Cities are carved beneath the surface. Artificial lighting replaces the sun, climate-controlled. Environments become essential. We no longer live with the planet. We survive against it. Over thousands of years, life begins to adapt. New ecosystems emerge, designed for extremes. Creatures evolve to endure endless daylight or perpetual night. Plants grow slowly, efficiently, conserving energy. Life persists, but it is no longer familiar. Earth's tilt, once a quiet detail, reveals its true importance. That small angle governed everything: climate, seasons, life itself. A single change unraveled the world we knew. It reminds us how fragile our planet truly is, how finely balanced the conditions for life really are. We do not live on a stable rock. We live on a spinning, tilted miracle. And if Earth can be transformed so completely by a single shift in angle, what other invisible balances are holding our world together right now? And what would happen if one more of them broke?